In the desolate expanse of the middle of nowhere, we find Phil immersed in a phone call, his voice laden with apologies to Tracy. The weight of the previous night's fiasco, which led to the loss of her soon-to-be husband, presses heavily upon him. But before we delve further into this nightmarish scenario, let's rewind to the origin of this chaotic adventure. At the heart of it all is Douglas, affectionately known as Doug, on the brink of matrimony with Tash. In honor of his impending nuptials, Doug's friends concoct a plan to spirit him away to Las Vegas for a legendary bachelor's night, a mere 48 hours before the grand occasion. Tracy's father graciously lends Doug a lavish Mercedes for the journey, coupled with a stern warning. Doug must be the sole pilot of this luxurious vehicle. His enigmatic and somewhat eccentric son Alan is strictly prohibited from taking the driver's seat. The gang embarks on their adventure, starting with the retrieval of Phil, an amiable schoolteacher who shares a deep bond with Doug. Their final stop leads them to Stu, ensnared in an overbearing relationship with his fiancée, who dictates his every move. The entourage commences their journey, making a pit stop for fuel and provisions. During this respite, Phil seizes the moment to confide in Stu, voicing his concerns about Stu's relationship with Melissa. He harbors suspicions that she might have been unfaithful with the sailor. Stu, however, contends that it was a bartender and not a sailor, although Phil's unease remains unaltered. The voyage proceeds, ushering them into the alluring embrace of Las Vegas, where they book an opulent room at Caesar's Palace. Here, Phil orchestrates a clever scheme to coax Stu into footing the bill. Yet the enigmatic presence of Alan, adorned in quirky attire and toting a distinctive man purse, leaves the group pondering just who invited him on this escapade in the first place. In their dapper suits, the friends prepare for their night in Las Vegas. Stu reveals a special family heirloom, a ring crafted by his grandmother. He intends to propose to Melissa during their Vegas escapade. However, Phil vehemently disapproves, arguing that Stu shouldn't marry someone like Melissa, especially after alleging that she had physically harmed him in the past. This sparks a heated debate and the revelation that Melissa may have cheated on Stu with either a sailor or bartender. Amidst their quarrel, Alan, looking quite peculiar in his attire, enters the scene, resembling a prepubescent child. Phil is left flabbergasted, wondering who invited him in the first place. The group makes their way to the rooftop, where they partake in a series of toasts, celebrating Doug's impending marriage. In an unexpected twist, Alan delivers an unusual speech about their unity, comparing them to a pack of wolves. He even goes so far as to cut his palm as a symbol of their bond, urging the others to do the same, leaving them all bewildered. Seizing the moment, Phil offers a final toast to their night of revelry, emphasizing that whatever transpires in Vegas must remain in Vegas and never follow them home. With some reluctance, the others concur, raising their glasses for one last shot of the night. As the night slowly gives way to the radiant sun, their hotel room is in disarray, bearing the marks of their wild escapades, while the trio is unconscious and utterly unaware of the chaos that awaits them. Amidst the chaotic aftermath, a curious chicken boldly wanders through the room. Stu is the first to regain consciousness, slowly emerging from the haze of a wild night. Following him is the somewhat clumsy Alan, who, in his groggy state, stumbles toward the bathroom. However, what he encounters inside jolts him to full alertness. A full-grown tiger stares back at him from the bathroom. His heart races, and he hastily retreats to alert the others. Stu, still reeling from the shock of his dislodged tooth, frantically paces about, while Phil, surprisingly nonchalant given the circumstances, can't help but mock him before urging him to calm down. Their bizarre predicament takes another unexpected twist as they hear a baby's cries emanating from the room. To their collective astonishment, an actual baby is present. Phil, maintaining his cool composure, inquires about the baby's origins, but it's Stu who vehemently insists they take the baby with them. His primary motivation is the ominous presence of the tiger in the bathroom. With the baby in tow, they venture outside, piecing together the fragments of a night they can't remember. Stu's growing unease deepens when he makes a startling discovery. Doug is nowhere to be found. This intensifies the urgency of their situation, especially when they spot Doug's mattress precariously hanging from a nearby statue, dangling as if to taunt them with its bizarre implications. In their quest for clues, the trio inadvertently stumbles upon a stolen police car from their chaotic night. En route to the hospital where Phil received treatment, they grapple with the unsettling fact that they've been unable to recall the details of their escapades. Upon their arrival at the hospital, their encounter with the doctor unveils a perplexing aspect of their forgotten night. The doctor reveals that they continuously mentioned a wedding they attended, offering the name of the church as a crucial piece of the puzzle. The path to uncovering the truth takes them to the church, where they meet Eddie, a lively and hospitable Spanish officiant, who presided over the wedding they seemingly attended. Eddie, with an infectious smile, proudly presents them with a photo album teeming with pictures of Stu's unexpected wedding from the previous night. His enthusiasm helps solidify the reality of their situation. Eddie generously provides them with the address of the mystery bride. With the impending threat of dire consequences looming over Stu due to his secret wedding, the pressure mounts. As they exit the church, he contemplates the prospect of erasing all evidence of the impromptu ceremony, driven by the fear of what lies ahead. As Stu contemplates torching the evidence of the surprise wedding, Phil vehemently objects, refusing to entertain the idea of setting a police car ablaze. Their escape plan takes a dramatic turn as they prepare to depart in the stolen police vehicle. Out of nowhere, a high-powered sports car roars onto the scene, and two intimidating figures wielding batons emerge, their intentions clear. They're searching for Doug. The menacing presence of these individuals, coupled with their apparent firepower, throws the trio into a state of shock and fear. In a desperate bid to evade the looming danger, they opt for a daring escape. Phil, adrenaline surging, hastily accelerates the stolen police car and speeds away, narrowly averting a potentially grim fate for himself and his friends. Stu, seated in the back, can't help but scream in frustration and bewilderment. The adrenaline-fueled escape leaving them in a state of frantic turmoil. Their journey takes a surreal turn as they arrive at Stu's bride's apartment, where her exhilaration is palpable. She eagerly takes the baby from Alan's arms and ushers them inside. However, Stu's celebratory mood takes a sharp nosedive when he nearly chokes on the water he was drinking after spotting his grandmother's ring adorning her finger. The shocking revelation sends shivers down their spines. In the midst of this perplexing revelation, Phil, the voice of reason in this unpredictable odyssey, takes charge. He explains to Stu's bride that they are on a mission to find Doug and confess their complete amnesia regarding the events of the previous night. Their transparency prompts her to candidly recount the chaotic events of that fateful night, even disclosing her occupation as a pole dancer. Suddenly, the tranquility of the moment is shattered when the police storm into the apartment. The three friends find themselves in custody, caught in the midst of a bewildering situation, and are charged with the theft of the police car, a charge that could further complicate their wild journey. With his persuasive skills in full force, Phil successfully negotiates a discreet deal with the cops to avoid unnecessary attention. However, this deal subjects them to ridicule from a group of school kids on a tour, adding a layer of absurdity to their already bizarre situation. Once they are released, they swiftly reclaim Doug's Mercedes and set out on their way back to the hotel. As they drive, the tension builds when they hear strange and unsettling noises emanating from the trunk of the car. Panic sets in, as they fear that Doug might be trapped inside. Phil takes action, hastily popping open the trunk. To their collective shock, a naked Chinese man springs out from the trunk, brandishing a rod. He ruthlessly attacks Phil and his friends before making a quick getaway. Stu, infuriated at the reckless actions that led to this chaos, confronts Alan, demanding an explanation for why he drugged their drinks. Alan admits his intention was to provide them with what he believed was ecstasy, hoping to ensure they had a good time. However, the drugs they consumed turned out to be something entirely different. As they grapple with the consequences of Alan's impulsive decision, Phil recognizes the pressing need to locate Doug and rectify the chaotic mess they found themselves in. He stands down and proposes that they return to the hotel to check if Doug has returned or made any contact, setting them on the path to resolve their increasingly absurd predicament. Back at the hotel, Alan serves as a timely reminder of the presence of the tiger. Ever the daredevil, Phil makes the bold decision to confront the situation head-on. As they re-enter the room, they are met with a jaw-dropping sight. The one and only Mike Tyson. He knocks Alan unconscious, his imposing presence demanding they return his tiger to his residence. After Alan regains consciousness, the trio concocts a daring plan to sedate the tiger and safely transport it. Their mission to move the slumbering tiger goes off without a hitch, cleverly avoiding any undue attention. However, as they drive away, the unexpected happens. The sedated tiger awakens, plunging the trio into a state of sheer panic. In a frenzy, they hastily exit the vehicle, inadvertently steering the tiger in the direction of Mike Tyson's home. Upon their arrival at Tyson's residence, they find themselves face to face with the former boxing champion, who confronts them with a surveillance clip that unveils how they sneaked into his house and absconded with his prized tiger. While Tyson is mildly irritated about Alan's escapade in his pool, the trio offers their heartfelt apologies, and eventually, Tyson relents and lets them go. With their wild night spiraling further out of control, Phil believes it's time to call Tracy and provide her with a full and candid account of their outlandish adventure, setting the stage for a much-needed reckoning and the potential for some clarity in the midst of their chaotic ordeal. As the situation escalates, Stu urges Phil to maintain focus on finding Doug, advising him not to mention the wedding or his missing tooth to avoid tipping off Melissa. Their secrecy is paramount. Meanwhile, Alan remains preoccupied with the state of his father's Mercedes, anxiously waiting for Phil's reassurance that the car isn't in dire straits. Just as Phil is about to offer that comforting assurance, a sudden and unexpected turn of events unfolds. An oncoming vehicle crashes into the Mercedes, violently smashing it into a nearby pole. To their shock and dismay, the same Chinese man they encountered earlier from the trunk incident emerges from the vehicle. He instructs his associates to forcefully remove the trio from the car. The stark realization dawns upon them. These are the same thugs who had attacked them at the church. Their adversary, the Chinese man, explains that after their wild party the previous night, they had absconded with his man purse, leaving him with a counterfeit one. Stu pleads with them, emphasizing their genuine inability to recall the events of that fateful night, suggesting that it might be a misunderstanding. He points out that Alan possesses a purse remarkably similar to the one they took. However, the Chinese man remains resolute, as the counterfeit purse contained a substantial sum of $80,000. He issues them a dire ultimatum. If they wish to see their friend again, they must return with his money before dawn. A location is provided for their rendezvous, and the Chinese man departs, leaving the trio in a state of urgency and panic, contemplating their next moves in the ongoing whirlwind of chaos. Desperation takes hold as the trio rushes back to the hotel room, frantically searching for the elusive purse. Their anxiety rises with each fruitless sweep of the room, as it becomes increasingly apparent that the purse is nowhere to be found. However, in the midst of their frantic search, an unexpected twist unfolds. Alan stumbles upon a book about gambling, a subject he had been delving into recently. This discovery sparks an idea, igniting a glimmer of hope. They decide to return to the casino, this time donned in their finest suits, ready to try their luck once again. In a surprising turn of events, it's Alan who steps up to the plate as the designated gambler, taking the helm and guiding their bets. His newfound expertise and quick decision-making abilities in the world of gambling proved to be quite profitable for the group. The following morning, they amassed their winnings, a grand total of $82,000, offering a ray of hope and a chance to resolve their ongoing predicament. Their optimism soars as they approach the designated meeting point with the Chinese man, anticipating the long-awaited exchange. The money is handed over, and as they cautiously remove the mask from the man they believe to be Doug, they are met with the face of a complete stranger. Alan is quick to recognize him as the individual who had sold him the drugs, a revelation that sends a surge of anger through Phil, who had expected to find their missing friend. In a bizarre twist, the stranger calmly insists that his name is Doug and facetiously suggests that he could be their Doug, with a hint of humor in his demeanor. The Chinese man, relishing their bewilderment, taunts them one final time before departing with the money, leaving the trio in a state of utter disbelief. Later, as Phil engages in a phone conversation with Tracy, Stu decides to extract some answers from the stranger. He delves into how the stranger ended up in the Chinese man's car and why he had sold the wrong drugs to Alan. The stranger nonchalantly shrugs off the inquiries, attributing the mix-up to the common practice of misnaming drugs, emphasizing that the effects often run counter to their names. He humorously notes that these substances generally lead individuals to the floor rather than soaring into the sky. Stu, struck by a sudden realization, interrupts Phil's conversation with Tracy, redirecting the course of the discussion. Stu reveals that he possesses evidence hinting at Doug's whereabouts. His mattress impaled on a statue strongly suggests that Doug might be on the roof. Without wasting a moment, they make a beeline for the rooftop, driven by a newfound sense of determination. There they find Doug, sitting alone and disoriented, bearing a sun-kissed tan and an insatiable hunger. The timing couldn't be more critical, as his wedding with Tracy is mere hours away. Their collective relief washes over them, knowing they found their missing friend. As they prepare to leave the rooftop, Stu spots the woman he unwittingly married the previous night. With a sense of responsibility and a desire for closure, he approaches her and attempts to explain their situation. However, she is fully aware of the bizarre turn of events and the circumstances surrounding their unexpected wedding. She returns Stu's grandmother's ring, closing a peculiar chapter of their escapade. In a surprising twist, Stu feels an unexpected connection and promises to take her out for dinner the following week, signaling a new beginning amidst the chaos. Reunited, Stu rejoins the others in the car, and they embark on their journey back to Los Angeles. During the drive, Doug makes a stunning revelation. He woke up with $80,000 worth of casino coins in his pocket. The news sends the trio into fits of joy, adding a final touch of absurdity to their wild adventure. The long and chaotic journey culminates as they finally arrive at Doug's wedding. Amidst the backdrop of a heartfelt and emotional ceremony, Doug and Tracy exchange their vows, sealing their love in matrimony. The celebration continues during the reception, but it takes an unexpected turn when Melissa confronts Stu. Her anger is palpable, as she berates him for not returning her calls. For the first time, Stu decides to stand up for himself, explaining that he was in Vegas, triggering an explosive reaction from Melissa, laced with profanity. This altercation pushes Stu to a breaking point, and he decides to put an end to their relationship. He yearns for the freedom to live life on his own terms, embracing the newfound sense of independence. Later that evening, as the boys relax, Alan produces Stu's camera, which he had discovered in the Mercedes. Doug seizes the camera and proposes a pact. They will view the photos just once and then delete all evidence. The group unanimously agrees, and as they scroll through the images, some of the pictures leave them utterly astonished, a fitting conclusion to a night filled with bizarre twists and unforgettable moments. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in another video. Till then, bye-bye.